The deep dive tonight, only 7 News has been exclusively reporting on community concerns, health and safety issues inside the year-old Cedar Hill Regional Medical Center.
We have team coverage tonight taking a closer look at a rare citation from the City Health Department and increasing demands for change. Today was the first time multiple leaders from the hospital were in the same room facing questions from city leaders.
And that is where Washington, D.C. reporter Felicia Ashley begins our coverage tonight. Felicia?
Yes, good afternoon. Well, first, the heavy questions they faced today had to do with what they are doing to improve the hospital as well as where it stands compared to other facilities. Today, DC Health revealed that it is not common for a hospital to get 8 reviews within 11 months, but Cedar Hill did. Councilman Zachary Parker asked the hospital interim CEO, Kimberly Daniels, about a case 7 News exclusively reported on.
I thought I was going to lose him.
Kevin Bell went to Cedar Hill a week after it opened with a blood pressure of 261 over 171. He was left in the waiting room for 12 hours, even after triage.
Mind you, the whole time I'm throwing up, I have the little barf bag, so I'm throwing up.
DC Health records revealed no immediate action was taken to address the hypertensive emergency. He wasn't labeled with the correct emergency level, medical records weren't documented correctly, and his vitals weren't reassessed according to requirements.
This was on the news. I believe this person had to be medevaced away from the hospital. I thought this might have been a typo, but with blood pressure over 200, over 171, I didn't even know one's blood pressure could get that high. And it was misclassified as non-urgent by the hospital staff. But my question is, learning from these instances, what protocols are in place to ensure that these types of misdiagnoses don't happen?
Right. So what I've done since my time at Cedar Hill is I take we have something called a STAR report where folks can freely, under psychological safety, freely report incidents that they believe are either near misses or situations that put us at risk.
Now, Parker also suggested to the interim CEO that they allow employees to report anonymously any issues they feel they are seeing within the hospital to allow for transparency. But I do want to add this, within the hearing, the hospital leadership did talk a lot about a lot of the improvements they have made since a lot of our reports came out. They said they've closed a lot of that gap when it came to staffing. More of the specialties have opened, and they said that their community outreach is about to kick it up major notches to make sure the community knows that they can come back. But coming up at 6, what we'll have for you, if you remember when we first reported on this in October, we told you about our concern and question on whether the hospital was ready to be open when it did. We learned that we were not the only ones to ask that question. Someone in hospital leadership did as well. We'll have that for you next. But for now, reporting live from the D.C. Bureau, Felicia Ashley, 7 News.
Now, today's meeting comes after 7 News exposed that the hospital got an immediate jeopardy citation back in February. So what does that mean? Well, we know it's the most serious warning a hospital can get from regulators, but what led up to the investigation and where do we go from here? Investigative reporter Scott Taylor, he's been tracking down those answers all day long. Scott?
For any medical center, an immediate jeopardy citation means investigators believe patients could have been at risk of serious harm. For a hospital, it doesn't get any worse than that. Reporting by 7 News has found claims of serious breakdowns inside Cedar Hill, including failures to communicate critical information, delays in care, and gaps in tracking patients' conditions. DC Health tells 7 News the immediate jeopardy probe back in February was tied to the health of a patient. And this, all on top of staffing shortages and ongoing problems since the hospital opened. So what does immediate jeopardy actually mean? It could lose federal funding, which is up to 60% of a hospital's revenue. The district could take action against its license. Departments could be shut down. Patient admissions limited. Even ambulances diverted elsewhere. Worst case, the hospital could lose certification and be forced to close. So how does a hospital come back from that? It starts immediately. Back in February, Cedar Hill had to fix the problems on the spot, and you can bet investigators remained at the hospital in order to watch closely. Then it had to submit a detailed plan of correction to the health department. Cedar Hill says all the issues have now been fixed, but oversight doesn't end there. Health officials can return at any time, often unannounced, to make sure patients are no longer at risk. The next big question remaining to be answered: what really happened inside Cedar Hill? We've requested the full report from DC Health. It's expected to detail exactly where the system failed and how close patients came to danger. For the I-Team, Scott Taylor, 7 News.
And 7 News has been a leader on coverage of issues at Cedar Hill Hospital. Our Washington, D.C. reporter Felicia Ashley was the first to report on that immediate jeopardy citation, and she's spoken with former patients and workers who've raised concerns about the issues at the new hospital. You can find all of our continuing coverage on WJLA.com.